book. "Hello sir, our mother has a tattoo just like yours." The little girl's voice was soft, polite, almost rehearsed. Daniel froze in the middle of the crowded train station. His hand, which had been reaching for his coffee, stopped in the air. 3 identical girls stood in front of him. Triplets. No older than 7. Their backpacks were worn, their shoes dusty, but their eyes were bright and hopeful. And they were staring directly at the tattoo on his wrist. The tattoo he got 10 years ago, the one he never showed anyone. A small compass with a tiny heart carved into the north point. A symbol only 2 people in the world were supposed to know about. Him. And the woman who disappeared from his life a decade ago without a single explanation. Daniel's throat tightened. "How do you know about that tattoo?" he whispered. The girls looked at each other. Then the one in the middle smiled and said something that made Daniel's entire world tilt. "Our mom has the same one, and she told us if we ever see it, we should find you." And in that moment, Daniel realized this meeting was not an accident. Not even close. Because those triplets were about to lead him to the truth he had been searching for 10 long years. And when he finally saw their mother again, everything he believed about his past would shatter. Daniel Reed had spent the last decade convincing himself he was fine. He lived in a modest apartment, worked long shifts repairing train engines, and kept his life quiet and predictable. People at work called him dependable, responsible, calm. But none of them knew the real reason he preferred silence. Silence didn't ask questions. And silence didn't remind him of the woman he once loved. Her name was Elena. 10 years ago, she vanished from his life overnight. No goodbye. No explanation. Just gone. At the time, Daniel had been a struggling mechanic with big dreams and very little money. Elena had been the opposite, bold, ambitious, always chasing the next adventure. They met in a small tattoo shop on a rainy evening. Elena had walked in just as Daniel was finishing his compass tattoo. She laughed when she saw it. "Compass," she teased. "Trying to find your way in life?" Daniel shrugged. "Maybe." She rolled up her sleeve and pointed to the blank skin on her wrist. "Then I should get one too. So if we ever get lost, we can find each other." They both laughed. But that night, Elena did get the tattoo. The exact same compass, with the tiny heart pointing north. It became their secret symbol. A promise that no matter where life took them, they would always find their way back. For 2 years, they built a life together filled with dreams, late-night conversations, and plans for the future. Then one morning, Elena was gone. Her apartment empty. Her phone disconnected. Her job resigned. No note. No message. Nothing. Daniel searched for months. He visited every place they used to go. He called every friend they shared. He even hired a private investigator with money he didn't have. But Elena had vanished like smoke. Eventually, everyone told him the same thing. Move on. So he tried. But the tattoo stayed. And every time he looked at it, he wondered the same thing. Why? Now, 10 years later, 3 little girls were standing in front of him claiming their mother had the same tattoo. And suddenly, the past wasn't buried anymore. "Where is your mom?" Daniel asked, his voice barely steady. The girl on the left answered. "She's at the hospital." Daniel felt a sharp pull in his chest. What happened? The smallest triplet held his sleeve gently. "She's sick." The girls explained that their mother had been in the hospital for weeks. Before she was admitted, she gave them very specific instructions. "If you ever see a man with this tattoo, bring him to me." Daniel stared at them, trying to process everything. "How did you even find me?" The girls smiled. "We didn't. You found us." Apparently, they had been walking through the station with their aunt when they noticed Daniel buying coffee. One of them spotted the tattoo when his sleeve slipped. And they ran straight to him. Daniel hesitated. This could be a mistake. A coincidence. But deep down, he already knew it wasn't. Something inside him was pulling him forward. "Take me to her," he said. The hospital was only 15 minutes away, but it felt like the longest journey of Daniel's life. His heart pounded with every step. 10 years of unanswered questions were about to collide with reality. When they finally reached the hospital room, the girls pushed the door open. The woman lying in the bed looked thinner, paler. But Daniel recognized her instantly. "Elena," he whispered. Her eyes slowly opened. And when she saw him standing there, tears filled them immediately. "You found him," she said softly to the girls. The triplets ran to her side proudly. Daniel stood frozen. 1,000 emotions crashed into him at once: anger, relief, confusion, heartbreak. "Why?" he finally asked. Elena looked down at the tattoo on her wrist. The same compass. The same tiny heart. "I wanted to tell you," she said quietly. "But I didn't have a choice." 10 years ago, Elena had discovered something terrifying. She was pregnant. With triplets. At the same time, she had been diagnosed with a rare heart condition that doctors believed she might not survive through pregnancy. Her wealthy parents stepped in immediately. They believed Daniel, poor, struggling, barely surviving, was not capable of supporting a family, especially under such circumstances. They gave Elena an ultimatum. Leave Daniel, or lose financial support and medical care. She was terrified. Not for herself. For the babies. So she made the hardest decision of her life. She left. She moved across the country with her parents and focused on surviving the pregnancy. Miraculously, she did. And the girls were born healthy. But Elena never stopped thinking about Daniel. Every birthday. Every milestone. Every moment. She told the girls stories about a man with a compass tattoo who once promised to always find his way back. "But I never thought," Elena whispered, tears falling down her face, "that you actually would." Daniel's eyes burned. All the anger he carried for 10 years suddenly felt different. Not gone. But softer. "You should have told me," he said. "I know," she replied. "I would have stayed. I know. I would have helped. I know." The room fell silent. Then one of the triplets tugged Daniel's sleeve again. "Mom says you're brave," she said. Another added, "She says you're kind." The third smiled. "And she says you're family." Daniel looked at the girls. 3 little faces filled with hope. Pieces of a life he never knew he had. He slowly walked closer to the hospital bed. Elena watched him nervously. "I don't know if I can fix 10 years, Daniel admitted. "You don't have to," Elena said softly. "Just don't disappear again." Daniel looked at the compass tattoo on his wrist. The symbol that once meant lost love. Now it meant something different. It meant direction. He took a deep breath. Then he turned to the triplets and smiled for the first time since meeting them. "Well," he said gently. "If your mom and I both have compasses, I guess that means we finally found our way. And for the first time in 10 years. Daniel Reed finally felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be.